Gang, 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 gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Welcome to New Horizons. I'm your host, Charissa Bloomberg, and we have a fantastic episode for you today. Remember, every week we host experts who will guide you through the different retirement options available to you so that you can enjoy a full and rewarding new phase of your life. In today's episode, we talk to Western Cape representative of the South African Older Persons Forum. This promotes rights and dignity of elderly people.
It's so nice to be sitting here in your office in the centre of Cape Town on a very warm day. We've come to talk about the South African Forum for Older People, of which you've been an intrinsic member for quite a number of years, in fact, since it was founded.
That's correct.
We're keen to find out as much as we can about the operation of it, how it works, who supports it, and what the main objects and aims are of it. I know, for example, you're the Director of Action on Elder Abuse. That's one of your titles. So just fill us in on why the forum was brought into bear and actually what it's doing now.
Yes, I have been involved since the very beginning. The Western Cape Older Persons Forum was formed in 2007, and one of the main objectives is to give older persons a strong voice. Older persons have issues and challenges, and if they all stand together and as part of the forum take those issues forward, they're more likely to be heard, and something we hope will be done. Mm-hmm. What happens is there's a national forum, the South African Older Persons Forum, which was formed in 2005, mm-hmm. and then after that in every province, all 9 provinces, provincial forums were formed. Mm-hmm. The provincial forum is fed from the ground up. In grassroots level, you've got older persons that belong to clubs, individuals that perhaps are just part of the community, not belonging to clubs. They will come together at a district level, and we have district forums at that level. We also have issues like pension forums and things that are done at mm-hmm. grassroots. People from all those forums then come together in a regional forum.
Does this mean that you have an enormous organization to control all these groups, or that people within the clubs, as you call them, actually take those roles themselves and become spokespeople for the local organization?
The individuals themselves do take responsibility.
Yes.
And because they are keen to have their voices heard. They want something to happen. They want their lives to change for the better. Mm-hmm. From the regional forum, members are elected to come and serve on the provincial forum. Mm-hmm. Those that are on the provincial forum obviously have selected their own office bearers. The chairperson and one other member of the provincial forum then serves on the national forum, on the SAOPF board.
So it's stepped up.
It's stepped up.
Yeah.
Issues that are specific to the province, the lobbying and advocacy will be done at provincial level by the provincial forum. Mm-hmm. But when it's an issue that affects almost all the provinces, such as SASO grants, for instance, that is taken up at a national level by the South African Older Persons Forum. This means that the voice of older persons from grassroots in the Western Cape will be heard in Pretoria, where the government departments and ministers
so vital,
are.
Isn't it? Because I think one of the main difficulties is people, as they get older, they feel they have no voice, they're impotent in a sense.
Exactly, and you know, I think we've got such wonderful older persons. Often we focus on older persons as being burdens, when in actual fact the reality is they are a vital workforce in our country at the moment. They are contributing enormously, and they are not being treated perhaps as well as they should be, and that is why it's important that their voice is heard and that services and things are not put into place because younger people think that's good for them.
Right.
They have a voice to say what it is they need and what they want, which is
That
most
so
important.
Good. I think last year in Khayelitsha, I went to a place which is rather similar to one of the forums, and they said that so many older people in Khayelitsha are simply locked in their houses while
That's
the old
right.
people go off to work.
That's
They
right.
come back, take their pensions, and they're virtual prisoners. They have no voice,
Exactly.
no power.
Yes,
So
those
that
are the
goes-
most vulnerable.
Yeah, most
Because that is
vulnerable.
usually somebody with a form of dementia who
Yeah.
is not able to speak out for themselves.
Yes.
And that's why it's vital that there is a body
Mhm.
that speaks out with a loud voice to make sure that issues are addressed.
So that you do see some real changes taking place because of these issues are being addressed.
We do see it, but I'm afraid not as fast as we'd like to see it
No.
happen.
But as you say, it's a kind of grassroots thing, and it has to grow up, doesn't it, step by
Yes,
step?
it has to. And as I say, the voice comes from the grassroots up to the
Mhm.
top, and information in return comes from the top all the way down to the grassroots. So older persons are getting information that they need to
Mhm.
make good decisions, and we are also hearing from older persons what their challenges are.
Does it cost money to join a club?
Not, it depends on the club. Some of the clubs charge a minimal membership fee. We, as an organisation from the Western Cape Older Persons Forum, we charge a membership fee for organisation or for a club. It's 50 Rand a year, and that doesn't depend on how many members.
Thank you. Thank you for being such a mine of information. I'm very impressed. And
pleasure.
thank you for your hard work over many years, and I know you're going to continue.
I certainly hope to continue.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break, so stay tuned and we'll be back with more information soon. Welcome back. That was Western Cape's representative of the South African Older Persons Forum. Now, please join us as we meet a senior citizen, Maurice Barak, one of South Africa's leading founder practitioners in the methods called Time to Think. Marisa works for large organizations internationally as well as locally, teaching the skills of brilliant thinking. So today, our team take a look at exactly what that means.
Maurice Barak, it's so wonderful to be here with you in Sea Point in your lovely flat on a wonderful early summer's day. But what a day. This is the day that's been rocked for many people by the announcement as a result of the American elections, and some people are feeling devastated and shocked, and some people are feeling elated. How do we deal with this in the thinking environment, which is you work with so closely? What is our approach?
Ooh, that's a big question.
Big question.
I'm going to just take it personally, if I can, yeah? So this morning, I was one of those who was very devastated by the results because of, in terms of feminism and in terms of what I perceive Donald Trump as representing, which doesn't work for me. So you asked the question, so how does one think about this? So in the work that I do with the thinking environment, the interest is exactly that question. How do we think sensibly, well, and deeply about issues that are this complex? And one of the things I did for myself this morning was name the feelings that came up. Because until we have released some of the feelings and named them, our thinking brain cannot function well. So that's one of the ways in facing, from my perspective, what you're talking about is if I want to think well about it, I better be very sure what I feel, be able to express it, and then let my thinking begin to come back after feelings have been expressed.
I'm so glad that we're talking now about feeling as well as thinking, because so often feeling is kind of relegated as being unimportant. The brain is what counts, how we think. We've got to have right, intelligent thinking. We can't be bothered with these feelings. They can't interrupt. So let's make that straight, as you have. Feeling and thinking are both interdependent and equally important.
Absolutely. This work is the work of a woman called Nancy Klein, who created the thinking environment. And I love her definition of feelings is the ability to, after sufficient emotional release, thinking will return. And we've had this belief that we mustn't feel things if we want to be sensible. And then we repress those feelings and think we can have a decent conversation or engage with somebody. And yet feelings are an intelligent part of our being. Yeah.
Yes, I think on the subject of feelings and women, I'd like to just hold up for women, because so often they're brushed aside as just an emotional woman. We don't need that. We need proper thinking. And you've put a bomb under that and shown us, and everybody, that feeling and thinking go together. And women have a propensity, perhaps in the feeling realm, that men don't. So more important, in fact.
There are three variables that seem to make a distinction. I can only remember two. One of them was that the people in the team have a higher quotient for empathy. Yeah? So the ability to relate and to connect and to listen and to understand. And the other variable was those teams that worked well or better had more women in them. And so in terms of what you were saying, I suppose we've all been conditioned so differently, men and women. So women generally have a greater facility to express feeling. How they do that is not necessarily successful, but an easier connection with their feeling nature.
Let's move away now from this momentous day in the news that has evoked feelings and thoughts in us, and look at the work you do with corporations. Here you're called in for your assistance and guidance to companies all over the world to offer them the benefits of the thinking environment and time to think. Can you tell us about that?
There are three variables that seem to make a distinction. I can only remember two. One of them was that the people in the team have a higher quotient for empathy. Yeah? So the ability to relate and to connect and to listen and to understand. And the other variable was those teams that worked well or better had more women in them. And so in terms of what you were saying, I suppose we've all been conditioned so differently, men and women. So women generally have a greater facility to express feeling. How they do that is not necessarily successful, but an easier connection with their feeling nature.
I would like to talk a little about your work in the corporate world, because I know that's where you center your activities. Can you tell us a bit how you're called into companies and what you can do for them?
Sure. So I do a lot of my work both here in South Africa and in other countries. And I work mostly with executive teams when they are facing complex issues. And when we face complex issues as a group, we have to be able to think well together. We have to allow for a multiplicity of views, because we know it's never one perspective that can find an answer. It's diversity of perspectives that will enable us to reach a possible answer when we're facing complexity. So what I do with teams is teach them certain practices, behaviors, how to be with each other, and structures that will enable them to run meetings in a way that would include every voice, that would engage with a diversity of perspectives, that would be really interested in those different perspectives, that would keep a focus through the questions that we ask about what we're looking for as a result, that would encourage each person to think to their best, if you like, that would support, and that always would include, as I said, diversity of views, that would also create equality. Those are behaviors. How do we generate equality amongst a group? Not, we'll always have different rank and power, but how do we treat each other as equal thinkers?
That's right. Very good. Well, what a pleasure to be with you. I think it's really helped me calm myself, actually, for some of the feelings I've been having about this news. And I know that this is the way that we do it, step by step, person by person, friend by friend. Thank you for being my thinking friend today, Maurice.
Let's take a break again and stay tuned, because we're going to be back. Welcome back. The show is loaded with information and tips to help you use in your everyday life. It's essential to save money, we all know that. So today we bring you money-saving service features for pensioners' discounts on stores, cinemas, museums, galleries, and other outlets. Let's take a look at how we can save us money.
Welcome everybody. We're not in the studio today, as you can see, but we're in the District 6 Museum in Batencount Street in Cape Town, one of the premier tourist attractions of our city. It marks the demolition and now the rebirth of District 6 as a celebration of what was, and in the spirit of the people, what still is. And thank you for District 6 for letting us do this. By the way, for pensioners, this is free. If you have your pensioner card, you're a South African citizen, you may come here free, and it's well worth it. Okay, so we've got so many attractions to cover. Arona Jansen, my guest, so many. And you are a District 6 original, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yes. First of all, it seems the obvious that we do the Table Mountain, because the thing that we're best known for all over the world. It's one of the 7 natural wonders, and it has the cable car that goes up there many times a day in fine weather and gives people a splendid view. If you have never done this before, I do recommend it. And as a pensioner, you can get the price is 110 Rand, which is a good deal. So do that, enjoy that, and from that see the whole panorama of the city, and then descend and choose what your next destination is. I would say the waterfront. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Much entertainment, shops to shop, and walking around and looking at all the arts and culture, what's happening at the waterfront.
Do you know it's the premier tourist destination in the whole of Africa? There are more tourists go to the waterfront than even to the pyramids.
Yes.
So it's very famous, and of course it's free if you don't buy anything.
Of course,
If you go
yes.
to the shops, the restaurants, then it's not free. But it also houses one of the premier attractions of the city, the aquarium. Have you been to the aquarium?
Yeah, I went once with a few friends of mine, but that was quite a while ago.
Uh-huh. Were you impressed?
Very much impressed and hope to go again very soon.
Very soon. It's a magnificent. I did have the brochure here, but it seems to have disappeared. But you know the aquarium, it's well known and draws thousands of tourists every day, and not only tourists. So that's the aquarium. Now we're having to move on to the, I'm just making my list, the Zico museums. There are many of them, or several of them. Do you know
Several,
that?
yes,
Zico.
yes.
Which is the one that comes to mind for you first?
The one here in Adley Street,
Yeah?
which is a good one. I mean, especially for our students.
Yes.
You know, for the children at school,
That's
or
right.
as educational.
That's right. I'm thinking of also the one in the gardens,
Yeah,
which is such a beautiful location.
yes.
And that has all kinds of different demonstrations and all
Yes.
kinds of different artifacts. So that's one of our famous ones. The other one is the National Gallery, very almost opposite, in fact.
It's
to the
opposite,
gardens.
yeah.
That has some beautiful things.
Yes.
And then we have more. The Slave Lodge, which is the top of Adley Street,
Yeah,
which is
which
very
is
interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
Very. And Crook and Stancher.
Yeah, that's also, you know, good for any citizen, you know, of Cape Town.
That's right.
Or to go and spend some time.
It's the first farm in South Africa where they've cultivated wine,
Yeah.
vines. So it's well known for that. It's very historic.
Not for drinking wine.
Well, yes, of course. But they drank it off the premises. And then the Koopmans de Wet Museum. Do you know that in Strand Street?
Yes, the one in Strand Street, yeah. I think there's also some restaurant there.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Near to the museums that you can at least sit and relax.
Probably,
No?
probably. It's a beautiful little building.
Yeah.
Now hedged in by these very tall buildings on
Yeah.
either side. And those attractions cost, they have a 10 Rand
Yeah,
for pensioners.
for pensioners.
That's very good value.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
anybody
you-
sorry?
You can spend 10 rand to go and look
To
at
look at the history. Look at the history of our
Yes.
country, our city. Exactly. What about the Castle of Good Hope? You know the castle.
Yeah, the castle has been there for many, many, many years.
Many years. Exactly.
Yeah, and there's always, you know, entertainment happening, and for students and also for senior citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have music, something, and demonstrations,
yes.
all kinds.
Yeah,
It's the
definitely.
first building ever built in Southern Africa.
Yeah, and students can get information there at the castle.
Very educational.
Very
isn't it?
educational, and they can do a lot of research there.
Exactly. So that's some of our main attractions. What about the penguins? Have you ever been down to Seaforth, Boulders Beach?
Not
see the
really.
penguins?
Not really. I think I'm a workaholic. I don't really have much time even to go there.
No, well, if you did, you wouldn't be alone, because there are hundreds of people who go there every day
Yeah.
to watch these birds. Now, I remember that beach when it was just a swimming beach.
All
Very
right.
beautiful. And now it's just virtually you can't swim because there are too many penguins.
Yeah,
So that's the downside of the penguins.
but it's
for
an
me.
attraction.
It's an attraction. It's a
Yes.
huge attraction. If you're fond of birds and bird life, you can go to the Rondaflay Bird Sanctuary in the flats.
Yes, that's
Yes.
also very nice to be at.
That's right. The Butterfly World.
Oh yes,
How about that?
going towards Wellington.
Is that the one? That's the one in Klapmuts.
Yeah, Klapmuts,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
the one.
that's a nice one. I went there with my family,
Yeah.
and the kids were still young, and then I love going in and all the butterflies coming, you know, getting onto you, and you feel so in another world. That's why they say it's a butterfly world.
And all those attractions have a 20 rand discount
Yes.
for pensioners again. So we're well catered for, us
Yeah.
older people.
Yeah, but you've got to have a little bit of money in your pocket also, you know.
You can't get everything for free.
Yeah, no,
You have to have.
and they have lots of art things that's made, handcraft things that you can buy there.
Yeah. Do they?
Yes, they do, and they have a little restaurant also there now.
They serve butterfly wings.
Yes, but
Okay.
no, what do you mean butterfly wings? No, they make nice breakfast and nice lunch.
Okay.
Yes.
Now another attraction we should talk about are these sightseeing buses that go around our city.
Oh, yeah.
And go beyond our city too. There's one very nice deal you get if you're a pensioner, again on a Monday or
Friday.
no, let me
I
see.
think Monday or
Thursday.
Monday and Thursday.
You get for 95 rand. You can get be on the bus the whole day. You can start, say, in the city. You can go around the city, jump on, jump off as at will, or you can go to Hout Bay, spend the day in Hout Bay, and then come back at 5:30 at night.
But I think also 95 rand is a bit steep for a pensioner.
Well, for a pensioner, I agree. But if you really want to do it, and you can maybe save a bit of money, you'll get there.
I think all pensioners should ask the children to sponsor them for that day.
I think that's a great idea. Do you
Yes.
think they would?
They will.
Yeah,
They will.
good. So I think these red buses are terrific. I did one in Johannesburg not long ago, and it was a wonderful way of seeing the city. Because you don't have to stay on the bus, you get off, have a cup of coffee,
Yeah,
come back.
yeah.
So that's good.
All right.
Okay, what else have we got? Let me see. We've got shopping, of course.
Yes.
Let's say ordinary grocery shopping, the big stores. They give discounts, don't they?
ShopRite give, Checkers give, hardware stores give.
Right. And they have special days, I believe, where you can shop on that day
Yeah.
and get lesser price.
Yes.
10% off, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, and also the pensioners that stay within the homes,
Mm-hmm.
they go out shopping only once a month.
Only once a month.
Only once a month.
Yeah.
And then they buy what they, what their
Mm-hmm.
need is.
Well, once a month, I suppose that's all they can afford.
That's all they can afford with the little money they have left over.
Yeah, that's sad. And I think to sum it all up, something I should mention here, if you go to the Cape Town Official Tourist Board office in Berg Street in Cape Town, you can get for free this very handsome book. It gives you most of the information you need about the tourist attractions
Okay, so you can get it for free.
for free. And they publish all kinds of information here, many of the things we've already talked about. It's a good sort of basis to plan your trip from and gives a lot of information. And they're so friendly at the tourist board. Just go there. They used to have a cafe, but they don't any longer. But Berg Street is surrounded by cafes. So go there, get the book, meet the people, very friendly, and again get the feeling of the city, because Cape Town
Okay.
is about people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Friendship and people.
Yeah. I think also at the end of the day too, if you wrap all these things up, it boils down to that the pensioners should at least get, if they get 2,500 Rand a month, they will be able to go to all these places, you know. They're being left out for lots of things because they can't afford it.
I entirely agree. It'd be lovely to see the
yeah,
going up.
and I think maybe one person in Parliament is listening to us now, or someone in government is listening to say, that's actually a good idea to give pensioners that amount of money. 2.5 will be good enough.
Yeah, and even 2.5 is not a lot. So.
It's not a lot, but I mean, they always feel like beggars, you know,
Yeah.
begging for this for their kids or whatever.
Well, we've given you some of the discounts available to pensioners. We've given you a list of some of the attractions of Cape Town, but you really need to come here and experience them yourselves. You get into the spirit of the city and you find you're transformed from one thing to another. And this is the city I know and love, and I think the same is for you.
Of course, I was born here.
You were born there?
I
yeah?
was born here.
I was nearly born here.
You were
Not
nearly
quite.
born.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for your attention, and I hope you've now got some more information you can go on when you plan your next trip, either as a resident or as coming from further afield. I know you'll have a wonderful time. Bye.
Bye.
That's all we have time for today. Remember, you can catch us on our social media page if you'd like to share some thoughts about today's segments or anything you'd like to share, or you can also call us on 021 4488 711. And remember, it's never too late to make a difference. Till next week, take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Gang, 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 gang.